All right, kids, it's time now for another episode of Bingo is Life.
The hits keep coming.
It's a post-bingo podcast. I don't even know what episode are we up to, like 750?
So that's pretty close.
We're at like 67.
Yeah, so
Because
here.
the week of June 11th, it's going to be episode 69.
Over here, okay. Over here we have the fabulous Howdy Show brothers.
Hey.
To
hello.
my right, from the other side of Court Square, the other side of the pond, the way the weather's been lately, the one and only Mom Shackles,
What pond are we talking about, though?
back from his hiatus. Well, he was already back last week. It's Dan Easley.
Hey, man, what's happening?
We have two very special guests in the silent Dave and Aaron chair. I am Jay Zare, the artist formerly known as the disgraced cryptocurrency. Never mind.
Wow,
That's a joke
disgrace.
from last year.
Disgrace.
Uh,
Do people still do that?
Walla Walla.
Hey, how did bingo go?
It was wonderful.
Mom Shackles and I got into games of skee ball.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. Well, while you were playing skee ball, we watched someone not win $175.
Now, do you think that guy
yeah.
feels?
No, wrong one.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
How do you think that guy feels, though? I mean,
I'd like to see him play that backwards.
He had a chance to win.
Yeah, he should feel great because he had a
$175.
chance.
Yeah.
And
He
then
had
he was
a
like,
chance.
"Oh, he was
He
excited."
got to
That would
have
only
a
have been
chance.
$50 in 2016, so it's all good.
Yeah, that's right. It was fine.
We had one table that was they were into it.
They really were.
That was. Are you talking about the professors, right?
Yes, the professors.
It was a group of professors from JMU, and I guess school's out for summer.
Yeah.
And they came out to have fun.
Do you remember our guest from many episodes ago who talked about coins?
Yes.
Yeah.
He was here, and he brought that crowd, and they had a good time.
Were they throwing money at you?
Sure.
money.
Yeah,
Ancient.
old ancient money. It may have just been rocks.
One of their friends, Ben, won tonight. And so
Yeah.
Ben gets up, he wins, and as he's walking away, it was like watching Jim Gaffigan. He looks just like Jim Gaffigan.
I don't know if that's a complimentary thing to say
I don't.
on the podcast or not.
Who is Jim?
Oh, he's a comedian.
Yeah, he's making money.
All right.
Oh, yeah,
Probably.
Yeah, he's successful.
He's,
Sorry,
yeah,
his-
people know him.
I know
He
him.
is known.
His light hasn't shone down into the cave yet.
Had a good time at the Wolf,
Oh,
White Oak Lavender Farm.
yeah.
watching you guys play.
Oh, it's
That's
an
a
acronym.
really a nice venue. It's out
It's
there.
a beautiful place,
Yeah.
and we were very fortunate because the weather was supposed to be terrible, and when we got there, it wasn't raining. We started to play, and mere minutes later, the sun came out. It was like divine intervention, and I don't even believe in God.
It was
Blue
just the spirit of lavender
Yes.
coming
Now-
to make the day better.
I will say that they are true to their name.
Yeah,
I
it's
mean
a
there
farm.
was lavender everything
Yeah,
everywhere.
They really doubled down on the lavender there.
I walked into the lavender store and you're like lavender, da, 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 everything.
They've got dancers out doing a kick line.
Lavender.
Lavender. Don't you forget about the lavender. Hey,
tomorrow night.
tomorrow night.
Court Square Theater.
Yeah.
If anyone's bored,
Yeah.
or if you're like, I never get bored, but I want to party, this is not that. It's a fantasy role-playing, tabletop role-playing inspired, long-form improvised theater.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Otherwise known as the Friendly City Fables.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Hey, we've got a show tomorrow, 7:30, and
Hagrietta's going to be there.
Hagrietta will probably be there. I would hope so. We've got some stickers.
Sweet.
If you like stickers, we've got some.
and
so
I mean, they're just like you show up, you get a sticker.
if you show up, you might get a sticker.
Yeah.
If you like stickers, I'm gonna give you one.
Or
Oh.
dice with like 500
Yeah.
sides.
It's a
Yeah, you might get some
well-made,
dice.
Wow.
well-made sticker. That's an anthropomorphized 20-sided die there, if I've ever
Yep.
seen an anthropomorphized.
And if you come to the show,
Hmm.
you'll find out what the human 20 is.
All
It
right.
is
interesting.
not related to the human centipede.
Okay. Anything else, Mom Shackles?
That's all for now.
That means it is now time for another unexpected notion with Dan Easley.
Thank you, Jay. Fluoride. It's good for your teeth. Snakeskin boots. Well, they're good for nearly every occasion. I'm Dan Easley.
All right. Hey, very good. Thank you.
That was an unexpected notion with Dan Easley.
I'm glad you picked that one. Strong start. That's good.
Thank you.
That's good.
Thanks very much.
I had to
More
put my
come,
glasses.
man.
Had to put my glasses on to read that. Let's bring in
Okay.
our guest.
Yes, let's.
We were trying to get these kids on the show for a long time.
It's true.
A Harrisonburg power couple.
Yes.
We have number one, Randi B. Hagi.
Yeah, you got it. Hello.
I've only heard them say her name a million times on the radio.
Right,
And
right.
Sean Waddington. The man who plays in every band in town.
Yeah.
And can fix anything. So thanks for coming down for the show.
Absolutely.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. So it was awesome. I was in your store today, Sean.
Yes.
What a great store.
Thank you.
I mean, if you've never been there, it's in downtown. You have to. It's not easy to find.
It is
That
not.
is so. So I'll quick
Please tell
tale.
us how to find it.
Yeah. Do you want to? I bet you probably got a good way.
When
of
people go,
telling
how do I
people."
find the store? You say.
It is in the southwest corner of Court Square. We are in the former Larkin Arts building,
There you go.
otherwise known as the Denton building. It was once a department store, the staple of downtown Harrisonburg, and we're trying to make ourselves just that.
Oh yeah, it feels
Yeah.
that way.
And if any of our listeners out there want to donate some money to help us buy a sign so that we're not so hard to find, we'll absolutely take that.
Well,
Nice.
why is it hard to find? There's a nice red billboard sign out front, and it's right on Court Square, right across from the what do you call
The
it?
water thing.
The water.
The thing with the
spring
water.
house. The
Spring
spring
house.
house.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so my brother-in-law who lives in Richmond, he came to buy a gift certificate for my son, and he was like, "Oh, just get on the internet. I'll find this place." And he kept walking around trying to just based on internet directions.
Did Google lead him
Yeah,
astray?
Google did not tell him. He didn't. He's like, "You got to go in that door," and then you kind of have to walk down the hall a little bit, and then
Look
make
for
a
the
left.
old guy who will give you 3 golden rings.
Well, that old guy tries to sell you bracelets in the summertime as
okay.
he's sitting on a cooler. If you pass him, you've gone too far.
But that's actually
talking about.
that's a good thing because it's one of those it's like one of those synergistic places. That the harder it is to find, the more people want to get there and
Yeah, that's true.
and see stuff.
Right.
That's true.
Find the secret room in the back with the instrument you were looking for.
We don't mind being a well-kept secret.
Yeah,
That's good.
Well,
No
That's good.
way.
It's well, you've done wonderful work with the place. I mean, each room is full. It drives me crazy when I go into a store and it has nothing there. But your shop is packed. My son went to the drum room and just played and got
He
to
did.
touch and see all these great instruments until he picked out the cymbal he wanted. Then we went home and beat the hell out of the thing. We had a fantastic time thanks to your store today.
Well, you're more than welcome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
Well,
we,
we love supporting the musicians of Harrisonburg and the region, and even touring artists. Becoming a spot that is known for that is more
Yeah,
than I could have
we-
ever expected.
we've had several musicians on this podcast, and they've mentioned you by name. So, I mean, it's definitely.
Well, he can fix.
It's definitely known, right?
He can fix anything in there, and it's cheap. Well, I don't mean cheap. I mean it's
Inexpensive, you mean.
inexpensive.
Affordable.
I had a guitar that Warren from Guitar and Amp Center couldn't fix, and
Ooh.
Sean fixed it for me for a very reasonable price. I thought I was going to have to give it away.
And magical things happen in your store. Magical things like Jay encountering the Grease box lady, yeah, and my friend Aaron encountering the whole clarinet thing that weekend was a little spooky.
Yeah, and we don't sell a whole lot of those type of instruments, but for some reason there's like this serendipitous moment that happens when someone comes in for one, so does someone else, or simultaneous, or like the next day.
Yeah.
It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun.
And if
Yeah.
you're a musician, looking to hook up with other people to play, that's the place to go. They got every time I go in there, that board is getting full.
Definitely, we try to get the community connected with the community, trying to strengthen the music scene in Harrisonburg.
Yeah.
And we do this with teamwork. There's no other way to put it other than there's no gatekeeping. We're trying to spread it.
Tell us about Chet's studio.
Chet's Bootleg Station, so a pinnacle. I know he's been mentioned on other episodes. Chet was a staple to the music scene in this town. Was always the best form of positive reinforcement that you could have as a musician. And after his passing, we had found ourselves with a couple extra rooms and decided to make a DIY studio because he had done a thing. He had gone out to tons of concerts and recorded bootleg copies of recordings on tapes and CDs throughout his life. And so we try to do that in a way where we help musicians learn the steps that are needed to record themselves by giving them a quiet place to do it and the resources to do it. From the microphones to the DAW, computer, MIDI controllers, the whole 9 yards for a very affordable price. And I will say we've put out, we've had 5 songs so far that I would listen to over and over again.
Oh,
Really
that's
impressed with
awesome.
them.
Can you send us the links to those songs?
Oh, absolutely.
So that we can have those in our podcast notes?
3 have been released, and one got entered into a contest that actually got the artist entered into another contest in Nashville.
Sweet.
Oh, awesome.
Is Julia involved in any of those 5 songs?
No, but we are amateur rodeo and just Julia doing some solo stuff. I think is in the cards for
Yes.
the very near future.
There's too much to talk about. You're going to be playing the best weekend ever with amateur radio, right?
Yeah, so the Tuning Fork will be running sound on the Court Square steps
Nice.
for that event. And, maybe pulled some strings and got amateur rodeo and Love Dawg in there. 2 of the 4 bands that are playing.
But you're the drummer for both of those bands.
I'm going to be a busy guy that day. What can I say?
Hey, you know what's fun? Me and Oliver are Basement Rebellion, and we're opening up for the amateur rodeo on that stage.
Oh, I saw that name. I didn't realize that.
That's-
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's me and my son. Yeah,
Great.
we play rock and roll. In fact, Dan Easley recorded us.
I did, in your basement.
In my basement. He came over. That
was a blast.
Yeah, and it's just, it's a small world. You're right. The music community, you just got to be open and it's awesome. It's such a good place to be, and I'm really excited about that June 15th.
It's going to be a great show.
Oh yeah, it'll be super fun.
Great name, by the way. Your band name.
If I hit the clutch, it helps. I'm changing the gears.
Oh,
Yeah,
changing
do it.
gears.
Change
yeah.
those gears.
Ba-da-ba.
Ba-da-bum, bum, 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 bum. And Randy has lots of hats that she wears, but maybe I should say she wears lots of different shoes because you also roll with.
I do. I am on the
coolest-
Rocktown Rollers team.
She's one of the coolest kids in this
nice.
town. Those women are amazing.
I am one of the noobs among the very cool people who do roller derby in town.
You guys just blow my mind.
What's your I should know, but what's your name?
I'm known as Zamboni because I'm cleaning up this ring.
Ooh, nice attitude
Solid.
Yes.
in the name.
And that's how you 2 met, right? Well, I'm
It
not
is.
allowed to say you're a power couple. That's what you're
Yeah, what's the
together.
origin
We've already said it, Jay.
I'll
Yes.
say it again.
Am I allowed?
Yes, we met on skates. Sean is a ref for the
Nice.
team, and soon to be other teams as well. And I was a newly joined skater on the Rocktown Rollers.
Well, you're a ref, Sean,
I am, yes.
so you can skate really well too.
You could say that.
That means
He's
yes.
humble.
So, but I can't even skate. How are you going around the ring so fast? It's shocking. It's shocking. I'm horrible at that stuff, though.
Yeah.
It's not my
Yeah,
place.
roller derby is it seems so cool, and I'm so impressed by everyone that does it. But I would be absolutely terrified to do what you
I
do.
know, right? Cool
broke-
and dangerous.
I broke an
oh my
ankle
God.
once, and it wasn't great. I'm probably not gonna want to try to do that again. You guys are out there just risking bones and taking names.
I will say that's not an uncommon injury for the sport, but we do take a lot of precautions to teach people, how to play in a stepped up kind of way, so that you're building muscle, you're building skills and form and confidence, so that we can minimize injury, within the best of our abilities.
All right,
That's
so
awesome.
Do you have
That's
a
wonderful.
do you have a song that you listen to like pre roller derby to get
Like
to
that
get you-
from
Your pump-up
Rocky or
song.
something.
Yeah, just like the song. You're like,
It's,
I'm gonna go get him.
I have a short playlist that I call my Juki Jams. Yes, I am primarily a jammer, which is the skater that's trying to score points by lap the other players. So they are my Juki Jams.
What service is that? Is this playlist someplace that we can be like, can we listen?
Do
with
we have
Andy?
access?
Private because I'm a little embarrassed about what's on it.
It starts.
God.
It starts
Those
with
are the
"Wind
best
Beneath My
ones.
Wings."
Those are the best ones. Any Joan Jett? Who's on it?
I think I'm Ken from the Barbie movie is on there.
Ah,
It is
okay.
not. That is slander and libel, and I will be suing you. But there is a song from
Slander.
Rocky Horror Picture Show. I'm not going to
Oh,
tell you which
that's
one.
good.
Nice.
What are the
It's meatloaf.
The different. Well, tell us some of the positions. Like you say, you're a jammer.
Yeah, so there are 3 main positions in roller derby. There are blockers, so there are 4 blockers on the track. There's a pivot who is primarily a blocker, but she's the person who's going to be running offense and can also take what's known as a star pass from the jammer. So that's the jammer, like I said, is the one who's trying to lap both teams and score points. If she gets hung up behind the other team's blockers, then she can take off. It's called a panty on her head. It's the cover on her helmet with the stars. If she gets hung up, she can take that off and pass it to the pivot. They become the jammer and go around.
So what kind of fouls are you calling, Sean, when that happens?
None on her.
That was my question.
Things like track cuts when you go out of bounds. Things like multiplayer blocks when you like grip arms with your fellow blocker and prevent someone from getting through.
You can't play Red Rover in this game.
No, none of that.
Are you allowed to
back
help
block.
hoist someone forward?
You can.
On your own
I have
team,
seen
yes.
that. Yeah,
You can't fling one of the other teammates.
Okay, all right.
You can throw one of your own teammates into the opposing block or
So there are
jammer.
no like pucks
Okay.
or balls or anything involved with it.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's like
Figuring
rugby
this out.
on skates without
Yeah.
a ball.
When's the next
But it
time?
takes balls.
When's the next time we can see a game? When's the next one?
Well, Rocktown Rollers are now large enough that we can split up into what we call 2 home teams. So it's all, Harrisonburg and adjacent folks, but we break up into what we call the Punk Possums and the Thrash Pandas and play against each other.
I love
so we
this
have another
community.
home teams game coming up on June 29th.
June
and I
29th.
believe that's at Funky's.
Yeah.
I love the poster designs for your events. It always conflicts with something else I have to do, but I'm always like, oh, this looks like where all the cool kids are. And I know it's true.
Or you're looking at the graphic designer that does them here.
No, that's true.
One
Yeah,
of them.
Rand-
One of them.
Oh, that's
Sean.
fantastic.
Just real quick, stop doing everything, man, and stop being like so amazing at it. Gosh.
Oh, that's her. No, that's her.
Yeah, you guys.
That's both of them together.
Wow.
Holy smokes!
I mean, that's how you get to be a power couple.
This is peak power couple.
I'm going to
guys.
ask a naive question. Is there any like element of showmanship to the whole thing? It's not like professional wrestling, right?
I'm going to take this from a ref standpoint.
Ooh.
Most sports, you see a lot of flagrant penalties. You see a lot of flops. You see none of that. There's very little fake penalties. There's very little,
It's a genuine sport.
violence. It's genuinely they want to play.
Right.
It's they're
But there's no like talking and smack talking to the other.
Oh, so much smack talk.
Yeah. And this has been going on for several years, right? I mean, how long has it been the Downtown Rollers?
Rocktown.
Rocktown.
I was going to say 2008. So
2008. Yeah, it's been a while.
Somewhere coming up on the 20th anniversary at some point.
That's awesome.
I'm having a senior moment. Who's Lindy?
Lindy.
Oh,
Is she
Sadie
still-
Masochist.
Is she still skating with you?
Yes, she is. When she's not busy traveling the country or the globe.
She was
playing
in
for other
Spain
teams.
for like the World Championships
Yeah.
of roller derby.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
We've
How
got
could that
some-
name not have been taken after all these years? Like somebody out in Jersey in
Hold on, what's the
1970.
name? What's the
Sadie Masochist.
Sadie Mask.
Those are amazing.
She had a former name though, and it was Love. It's quite a jump.
I think that's short for Maleficent or something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Can you give us any of the other names? Or who else is out there?
Sure. Basset Case, Pin Pushing,
Rita Brawlo,
Do you have a name?
Peaches
As,
and
do
Scream.
you have the name as a ref?
Sean also has a name.
Refer Madness.
Of course.
Which I want to also give it up to Funky's for staying open because they really
Yeah.
had a moment.
Yeah.
If you've never
man.
been there, they could have closed down after that explosion, but they ended up reinvesting
Yeah.
and opening back up. And I know the owners, and they're wonderful people.
Yes.
So
And-
I mean,
So
And
for
for those-
anyone listening
and for-
that doesn't live in this town,
Right. Yeah. The
that was
explosion,
a
yeah.
There was
fun
an
sentence
explosion.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean it was a crazy day in Harrisonburg once.
Hell yeah.
The friendly city was rattling. Does anyone else want to tell what happened? Because I actually wasn't
What-
here.
My experience, I should say, is I was woken up by a text message from my guitar teacher saying, "Did you hear that?"
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Weird.
"Did you feel that?" out there in the
where were you guys during that explosion? Did you guys hear it?
I did, so I felt.
What's your
it.
alibi?
My alibi is I was 15 miles away, but I still felt it.
Yeah,
So from what I've gathered from reporting, like there was a gas leak I believe in the little strip mall that was just up the road, not very far away from Funky's. I think perhaps in the hair salon, there was an explosion. There were a couple of minor injuries, thankfully nothing major and no deaths. I was living 15 miles away at the time, and I raised Muscovy ducks. And they have the ability to fly a little bit. And so I was upstairs in my house at this moment, and I heard the windows rattle, and I thought, oh my God, one of my ducks just flew into my window. What is this? And then I got online and saw, oh no, there was an explosion.
Yeah.
It's that shopping center that's behind Wendy's.
No, it's not there anymore.
It's not there anymore.
So I live literally right across the basketball court from it, and it blew my door in and my windows in.
Dang.
Yeah. So, but then the fire department came around and they looked at my house. They said, "Oh, you're okay. You're fine."
It was Blue Sprocket
Blue
recording
Sprocket.
studio.
Oh.
That was they had one of 7. You know that story, Sean, right? One of 7
The mixing board?
mixing boards in the
The
world.
Neve, yeah.
That got annihilated. So that was
There was a lot of damage with that incident.
I can fix anything, but not an explosion.
And that explosion was, since it was so close to Funky's, it damaged the skating floor, the rink.
Yeah, and the ceiling I think had a lot of damage
Yeah.
to it.
But they did it. They
Fixed it.
spent the money themselves. They didn't get a lot of insurance money, and they paid for it, and they made it happen. And
Because doing a roller derby on a bumpy surface, not great. Is that any fun, Randy?
No, well, it's not ideal. It
No?
doesn't.
Okay.
You know, we fall enough as it is, just
Yeah.
hitting each other around. So you don't need to be tripping over
Yeah.
stuff too.
So it's a good.
she
good thing to fix.
alluded to it,
Yeah.
but Randy B. Hagi also is a reporter.
Yeah.
Yes.
For NPR.
More power.
More power.
The local NPR station, to be fair.
Do you have
Hey, that's still NPR.
That's right.
NPR's Dan Easley. He works for NPR sometimes. I mean,
But the
Only
local,
when Kmart lets him out. Okay.
yeah. Sorry.
He's so
Only
busy
when-
at Kmart.
it's the agreement. We pretend I work at Kmart.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry. Kmart's hot.
Do you have to compartmentalize the roller derby and the radio job?
Somewhat. I mean, I have to compartmentalize the radio job to some degree, depending on what I'm working on.
Right.
I mean, we haven't heard, hey, everyone, it's Randy's Rolling Radio. We haven't gotten that far yet, but
No, I do tend to keep those parts of my life separate.
So, go ahead.
I would say they probably complement each other pretty well. You know,
I
the things
did-
you can say on the air, you can hit somebody for it.
True. And I did start doing roller derby because I had reported on the team a couple of times. Wow. And I had always been afraid of roller derby because one of my coworkers back in the day, before I ever got on skates, she had been on the roller derby team, and she told me the story about the reason why she retired was because she was in a bout, and one of the skaters on the other team came around and intentionally stomped on her hand with the skate and broke it. And I was like, you know what? I was derby curious, but I'm not down for that.
Yeah.
But then I reported on them a couple of times. I was like, they are having so much freaking fun. I have to give this a shot. And thankfully, nobody has tried to step on my hand.
Did it take you a while to get into shape? I mean, did you notice the aerobic issues?
In 1 year's time, I have seen her go from like Bambi's kid walking around on skates to A-team quality, just
A-team.
phenomenal.
Nice.
I can barely outrun her now, and I've been skating since I was born.
Were you a high school athlete or a college athlete?
High school, yes, not college.
What was your regular sport?
I played volleyball and I snowboarded.
Cool.
Oh, nice. Nice. So my son is doing that. It's my son's birthday.
happy birthday, Oliver.
He's 15, but he is playing volleyball. Thomas Harrison Middle School has a guys volleyball team. I know, right? Middle school guys volleyball team, and so much fun to watch. Never watched volleyball in my life. Like I didn't even know how many points they would go to. Super fun. Yeah, who would have guessed? Anyways, volleyball.
That's fantastic. Are we allowed to talk about your upcoming nuptials?
Yes,
What?
sure.
What?
Insofar as they are planned, which is not much.
Whoa.
Who you know? Tim from the Golden Pony. They've been working on their wedding.
Tim Rouse, yeah.
Yeah, they've been. It's really hard to find venues and things.
It is, yes.
So you're going to spend a bunch of money.
And we have roller skating to think about, and we have music to think about.
Right.
So the venue has to have both.
Yes.
Oh.
I love it. How many? Now tell us again. How many bands are you playing in right now? At least 3, right?
Currently, full-time 2, a couple other ones here and there.
What's the full time too? What you got?
Amateur rodeo. Julia Cottrell, she was on the podcast before. Spoke about the music. I definitely recommend listening to that episode. We're doing some big things. Her music is just wonderful, and our instrumentation is complex. It's emotional. It really connects you to the music. And then also Dawg is a collaboration with a bunch of different musicians and has evolved from just a kind of cut loose jam with no plans to now we have a set list, and we've put just tons and tons of covers, and now we're up to like 15 originals of anything from funk to jam, rock, classic blues. There's like as far back as Elvis, as new as what you hear on the radio today, and a blend of all of it.
Cool.
And I can't speak highly enough about the skill that's on stage when we play, because it's just so much fun.
Featuring
High energy.
Brian Liskey on bass.
I was going to say that is Brian
right.
Liskey on there.
He
He's
does
on bass.
Yeah.
What?
Very cool.
He can play it. Well, he can play a lot of stuff. I told you about doing the Rock Lotto where they said this song needs to be in 5/4, and Brian jumps on the drums and starts playing in 5/4 time.
Wow.
And the drummer started playing the guitar at 5/4 time, and I was like, I have to go home.
It was a joke. 4/4.
But yeah, that was you don't play drums for Daddy Sir, right?
I don't. That's Grant. That's Grant.
I saw some really cool pictures. I didn't get down there Monday. Tell us about the open mic. Give a plug for that.
I just want to say, if our listeners aren't familiar with 5/4 time, and I guess if they're baby boomers, then the theme from Mission Impossible or Take 5 by Dave Brubeck would be good examples.
Great
of that.
examples.
Very good.
But I saw some cool.
Sorry to
We're here to learn
Thank
too.
you,
That's awesome.
Encyclopedia Dan.
They moved the open mic to Monday nights.
Mondays,
Give us a plug for that.
It's from 7 to 11 now. There's extended time. There's no karaoke after, which was a problem with it before. And anyway, everybody that comes gets a few songs. We do collaborations where after your set or before your set, if there's other things that kind of fit your vibe and you want to jam, we're all down for it.
You're still setting up your drum kit?
Yes, Grant's been coming a lot too. So one of us is usually there. With it being on Mondays, it's a little harder. That's also Amateur Rodeo's practice night. But then every couple weeks, we just use open mic as our practice to
Nice.
try out new covers or a new original.
How is what's the band? The Stand. I want to catch the new band. The Stand is in. They were there Monday, right? Mystical Orchestra.
Oh, I forgot the that's Grant and yeah. What is it called?
Mystical.
Oh, I'm so sorry. If you're listening, I'm terribly sorry.
Mystical Orchestra, right? No.
Mystical? Okay, yes.
But what was that like?
Oh, great. That was awesome.
Yeah.
They're
They're going to be all
Horrible.
wrestling. Yeah.
Stan and I have jammed for a long time, and actually his bass is at the shop right now, getting a little facelift. So,
But I think they're going to be at Restless Moons on Saturday.
So these open mics that you're just now talking about occur at Clementine, not
right
Clementine,
next door.
in the other Ruby's.
The original.
yes,
Ruby's
the original.
Lounge.
And you've got like
We're now in Ruby's Arcade, and we're so glad to be in Ruby's Arcade.
Oh yes,
Jay?
our sponsor.
Our sponsor,
Our sponsor is Ruby's Arcade.
I'm kidding them. Do we have any more weird notions I'm supposed to plug here?
I think
Anything
that-
written on the back of
Took the
the
paper
I think that we
Tell-
had the expected, unexpected
The expected,
one. There will be another one next week.
I have never
Tune in.
seen such an energetic bingo game.
Yeah.
We walked in, I was like, this is
Well-
boisterous. Oh my God.
Well, thanks for
moisture.
coming to the game. That
Yeah,
was cool to see you guys,
absolutely.
and thanks for joining us here this evening. That's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You
Thank
guys
you.
are incredible, and it's great to hear your story.
Oh,
I
you
love
guys
it.
are great. Thank you.
Rocktown Rollers, Tuning Fork, downtown. It's not that hard to find. Yeah.
You guys
Not
also
that
have a
hard to
podcast, right? Is that no?
No podcast.
No. Okay,
No.
I'm sorry.
But
that
again-
was somebody else.
You just said stop doing so many things. Now we have to add a
Yeah, right.
podcast.
Now
what?
you gotta
I got
do a
you confused
podcast.
with the other power couple for a second. There are only two in town,
Oh,
and they
we have to fight them now. There can only be one.
Fight to the death. Fight to the death.
will be promoting that event on the next podcast.
Okay. Thanks again, Randy and Sean. Everybody, we're Bingo is live and in person, 7:30 Tuesday nights at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg. You can listen to us anytime you want to on the internet. See you next week.
Thanks.
Bingo is Life, a post-bingo Harrisonburg podcast. is brought to you by the Brothers Howder Show and our friends at Ruby's Arcade in downtown Harrisonburg, Virginia. If you've enjoyed the show and feel it's worth spreading a little joy in this world, please tell just one person that you like this podcast. Word of mouth, more than any other form of promotion, is how creative works get noticed and sustain themselves. Thank you, Andrew Hickey, for that bit of wisdom, and thank you, listeners, for being part of the fun.